Hey guys, Sonic Eggman here reviewing RoccoW Racing on the Sega Megadrive.
What happens when you cross hard rock music with space and heavily armoured vehicles? No, it's not AC/DC being played in a tank launched into space by Elon Musk. It is, of course, the Blizzard and Interplays classic RoccoW Racing on the Sega Megadrive. That's right, I said Blizzard. The same Blizzard who made World of Warcraft. The same Blizzard who made StarCraft. And yes, the same Blizzard who made Diablo. You see, back before they were working exclusively in acronyms, making mmorpgs and rts'seses, they were creating a rad collection of varied but very well-made 16-bit games. RoccoW Racing was first released on the Sega Megadrive in 1994 and is best described as RC Pro-Am racing with weaponry. You play as one of 6 heroes with the ability to unlock an additional mystery racer via a button combination at the selection screen. The additional racer is none other than Olaf from the Lost Vikings games. That horned crusader sure does get around. The objective of the game is to beat the other 3 cars on the track and win top points for the event. Once you accumulate enough points, you can move on to the next planet against a different set of opponents and do it all again. You also gain cash from winning races you can use to purchase new vehicles or upgrade the vehicle you currently own. The sound of this game is one of the biggest selling points for me, featuring one of the first licensed soundtracks I encountered in a video game. It includes MIDI versions of heavy hits from heavy metal gods such as Black Sabbath and Deep Purple. Also exclusive to the Mega Drive version is a song Radar Love by the Dutch band Gold Earrings. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but for a long time video games didn't have famous songs in them. So think about that next time you're listening to your fancy new games with your fancy new soundtracks. The covers, I guess you call them, were composed on the Sega Megadrive by Tony Williams, the man credited for composing the soundtrack for Lemmings on DOS amongst a bunch of other games across multiple platforms. The voiceover work in this game is awesome and feels like a modern day EA Sports game. It's done by none other than Larry Huffman, one of the most iconic commentators in American Supercross. Larry's work takes this game from good to excellent, and more times than I care to admit, I've told him to shut his goddamn mouth when he announced that I look lost out there. Besides the enemies and their weapons, you also have to dodge giant oil slicks, pools of water, and random landmines strewn throughout the levels. There are also warps which propel you forward at breakneck speeds. You can, of course, also catapult yourself over the edge, destroying your car and sending you to the back of the pack. It's funny, whilst I was recording this, you know how hard it is to say giant oil slicks and not make it come out like joy and oil slicks? Just thought I'd share that with you. My fondest memories of this game growing up was playing it in 2-player with my mate back when I was in school. Some of those comps were brutally competitive. One of my favourite things to do with this game as a kid was dumping a bunch of landmines on a corner and listening for the explosion. Wait for that sweet sound. Ah, that's nice. It's funny to think of the idea of rock and roll and how dramatically it's fallen out of fashion in the last 20 years, but at least we'll have things like RoccoW Racing to remind us that in the 90s, someone thought music from the 70s would still be popular in the future. That was RoccoW Racing on the Sega Megadrive. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, hit like and subscribe at the bottom. Sonic Eggman out.
Let the carnage begin! Viper fades into last. Olaf is dominating the race. Viper is about